Good evening to you all. Thank you all for joining our cybersecurity training program, which is organized by Inveteck Global. I'm Mr. Blay Abu Safian, your instructor for the day, the founder of Inveteck Global. Today we are going to be talking about XML external entity, that's the XSE attack. As security researchers, penetration testers, web developers, network administrators, I'm sure we all know about vulnerabilities and we actually know what vulnerability means. In case you don't know, no problem. I'll try to go over it. A vulnerability is a weakness or security flaw in an application that allows an attacker to cause harm to the application. What is a XML external entity XSE attack? This type of attack is used against an application that powers XML input. According to the OWASP Top 10 Application Security Risk 2017, this type of attack is placed fourth on the list. So how does this attack occur? Weakly configured XML parser tries to process an XML input, causing a reference to an external entity. Why is this type of attack dangerous? It causes disclosure of confidential data. It can also lead to denial of service attack, and also it can be used for server-side request forgery. So enough of the talking or the theory. Let's get some practicals done. We move over to our Kali Linux, which is the attacker machine. We start our Firefox browser. Let's try to open, or let's try to navigate to our vulnerable lab, which is the Inveteck global.lab. Enter. This is the default page which says it works. Let's navigate to the login page which says login if you can. This is the login page which asks for name and password. Let's try test. Let's see what the server says. It says sorry, your test not available. Let's try demo. Password demo. We try to log in. It says sorry, this demo not available. Now let's try to see what happens, or let's try to analyze our request. Let's start our Foxy proxy. Let's navigate to Web Suite and let's set the intercept on. Let's move over to our browser. Let's try to submit the request again. Log in. Let's forward. Okay. Here, as we can see, we've captured or we've intercepted the request. Let's try to send it over to the repeater. Now we have the post request we are trying to make a post request to the xse.php. Looking at the body, we have the XML version 1 encoding UTF-8, the root name, password, root. Okay, let's try to arrange the body so we can analyze it further. Okay, now let's go back to our slide. I have something to show you. So here we have the exploit. The exploit, we are trying to read the etc/passwd file. So here we have the exploit. Let's copy it over to our Kali machine. Let's open a text editor. Let's paste it here. So we don't want any errors. Let's try to rewrite it again. So let's try to copy the whole thing and send it over. Okay, first let's try to analyze this request. On our left side we have the request, on our right side we have the response. We have the target URL, which is the inveteckglobal.lab. Let's try to see what happens after we hit go. It says sorry, this demo not available at the response. Okay, let's try to put test here and see what happens. It also says at the response side, sorry, this test not available. Now let's try to insert our payload directly beneath the XML version in the body. Now we have our payload here. Pasting our payload here. Let's see what happens. Go. We don't see any changes because there is not a complete payload. We have to modify the payload. I could have modified it and just paste it here, but I would like to explain or show how to modify this kind of payload. Okay, starting from the name, we have test there. So before the test we put the end sign and a semicolon. Let's try to hit go. Hitting go, it says this not available, meaning we are still not done with the payload. Exactly after the entity we have a U, then system. So let's try to change the U to test. Let's try to enter, or let's try to go. Yes, it worked perfectly. So that's how to modify your own XML payload. As we can see on the response side, we are able to read the etc/passwd files. Now let's see. Let's try to put after the instead of test. Let's try to put demo and see if we still get the same results. Demo. Let's go. Yes. So now we know how to craft our own payload, or we know how to craft our own XSE attack payload. Now let's try to set up a local server on our machine and try to use this vulnerable lab to access our local machine. So let's create a terminal, or let's open a terminal. Let's put it to the right side. Let's split it into two. First, before we open a local server, we need to start our Apache. So service Apache 2 start. As it's starting, let's try to locate ngrok. Okay, ngrok has been located here. Before we continue, by default, right, you won't have ngrok in your Kali Linux machine or your Unix machine. You have to navigate to their website and try to install the ngrok. Okay, so let's see if our Apache server is running. As you can see, active, running. Okay, now let's try to start our local server remotely. So ngrok http 80. Now we have our session status online. So our ngrok is working perfectly. Let's copy this URL, send it over to Burp Suite and paste it. So meaning we are trying to tell this host machine, which is the inveteckglobal.lab, that we are trying to open or make a request to this local machine. Let's see what happens. Let's enter. Now let's move over to our terminal to see what happens. As we can see on our ng-log, we were able to make an HTTP request, which is a get 200 response. So meaning our host machine was able to make a request to our local server. On our local server, I have a text. We will try to access the text from our vulnerable Inveteck global.lab. First, let's try to navigate and see what this text contains. Our test.txt says I got attacked from Inveteck global.lab because it was vulnerable to XSE attack. Sorry for my spelling of attacked. Yeah, never mind. So over in our web suite, let's add test.txt. Let's go. Yes, it also says I got attacked from Inveteck global.lab because it was vulnerable to XSE attack, not SSE attack. So here we can see we made a get request to text.txt. So meaning we are able to use our remote server to access our local machine. Now I have another script here which says test.php. Let's see what it is. The test.php contains echo works perfectly system get cmd. So we are trying to get cmd from our local machine. Simply to get cmd from our local machine so we can access our machine remotely or locally. So we have the test.php. Now question mark cmd is equal to, let's try to list what's on our local server. Yes, works perfectly. Form.php, academic, index.html, login, root shell. Over in our terminal, we can see we have the same thing here. So meaning our remote server is able to communicate with our local machine. As you can see, we made a get request to this local machine. Yeah. So let's try to see if we can read the etc/PASSWD of our local machine. So cat %20 being the space etc/PASSWD. Let's try to go. We don't get any response. Let's see. Oh, in our local machine we get a 403 forbidden, which means that I have a firewall in place, firewall protecting my local machine. So now let's try to bypass it. How can we bypass it? In case you missed my presentation on WAF filter 404 not found during the OWASP Ghana meetup, you can visit their official web page. On their official web page, Ghana chapter, you will find my presentation uploaded there, so you can go through and understand it better. So let's try to bypass this firewall. So let's put question mark here, question mark here, question mark here. Now let's go. Works perfectly, not available. So here, meaning it's working, but something is preventing us from viewing the files, meaning we are able to bypass now, but something is preventing us from viewing the etc PASSWD. Now let's try to figure out what's wrong. Now let me put bin here. Let me try again. Yes, so putting the bin there, we were able to read the etc pass WD files. So we're able to bypass the firewall. So in this video, we were able to learn about the XSE attack. We're able to learn the XSE attack one. Also, we're able to learn how to craft our own payload for this type of attack. And thirdly, we were able to bypass firewall. Okay, so mission accomplished. We've been able to read the etc pass WD files. Okay, now how can we prevent ourselves from this kind of attacks? Let's go over to our slide. We have how to prevent XSE attack. So how to prevent, we use less complex data formats such as JSON, avoid serialization of sensitive data. We also have to patch or upgrade all XML processes and libraries in use. The fourth point, disable XML external entity and document type definition, which is the DTD, processing in all XML passes in the application. So on Google, you can check out DTD and read more about it. So these are the ways to prevent this kind of attack. Okay, before I forget, in case you would like to contact us, okay, thank you all for joining us. In case you would like to contact us for any consultation, you can get us on www.inveteckglobal.com. You can also email us on info@inveteckglobal.com, or you can also give us a call on, if you are in Ghana, you can get us on 020-236-6048. Yes, if you are also outside, you can get it on our US line, which is +1 301 969 2335. Also, we offer services, or what we deal in. We offer penetration testing on websites and mobile applications. We help companies construct security plans and policies. We also help in patching of vulnerable servers. We also help in vulnerability assessment, detecting security threats, security analysis, data mining, image processing, web development, Android and iOS development, wireless security installation, CCTV or satellite installation. So these are the services we offer. In case you would like to in case you would like to train your employees in your company on cybersecurity, you can contact us. We also provide such services. Thank you all for joining once again. Bye.